What's happening, everybody? It's the real deal coming back at you, and let's talk about Iran. It's in the news right now. It's been in the news for years, but it's really big in the news right now because of what's happening over there. The people in Iran are tired of Sharia law. They are tired of their leader is Ali Khamenei, whatever you want to call him. They're tired of him. They're tired of Ali. And it's a mess. And I strongly support the Iranian people. And I feel bad for them because thousands have been killed in the streets. They are messing with them left and right. They're shutting off their power. They're shutting off everything they have. They have no capability, nothing. And because they want to keep them down, they're getting the military out there. They're hurting innocent people. And I, for one, am glad these people are standing up against their government. Here's what trips me out. These people know that it's not going to be easy to overthrow their government. There's about 90 million people over there. There's a lot of military over there. And they're not playing. They will take these people down, man. And here's the deal, too. Most people don't know anything about Iran, its history, their government, or anything like that. The only time they ever hear anything is like right now, it's in the mainstream media. And they're kind of downplaying it, which is funny because you would think this is huge. This should be your number one story, that you've got thousands of people marching in the streets, sacrificing their lives, putting their lives on the line for freedom. For freedom. They don't want Sharia law anymore. They want a new leader. They want the country to get it together. The economy over there is horrible. It's horrible. And the mainstream media, they don't build this up and put it out there like they should. The American mainstream media, even Al Jazeera is downplaying it. They don't want anybody else in charge. You know, you got Donald Trump working with those people saying, hey, if they're mean to you, you know, we got your back on this, man. And I'm like, okay, because I don't want to go to war, but I don't think there will be a war. But I think there might be some, you know, a few flights over there. Little warning to some of those people. In this day and age, you just don't fly and drop anymore. You know exactly where you're dropping your stuff and on who. And honestly, the people over there would be very, very happy. They are celebrating over there. They are celebrating, they're partying, they're happy because they know freedom's coming their way. The economy over there is awful. Money is $100. You're like a king over there because it's just awful. It's just awful how they've exposed everything, and the prices are sky high. Houses, apartments, these people can't afford that. They don't make much money over there. There's a lot of basically child labor, slave labor over there, like most countries. There's no freedom over there. There's no democracy. There's no freedom of speech over there whatsoever. They go by the Sharia law, the old Muslim Sharia law. There's a lot of rules to it. And if you're a female, I'm sorry, but yeah, you don't belong. There's a lot of rules that are against the females over there. Trust me on this. Most people, like I said, don't know the truth. And they'll go and they'll look it up right now. Let me see Sharia law. Oh, and Google says that that's okay. This website says that there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, well, look up the truth, people. Iran's been around a long time. It used to be known as Persia. Its history is about 5,000 years old. Iran means Aryan. They changed the name. It used to be Persia, like I said. They changed the name in 1935 to Iran. There's a lot of different reasons why they say they changed the name, but I don't think we'll ever know the real meaning why they changed the name. Iran has a history of violence and a history of war, even dating back to the days when it was Persia. If you read the Christian Bible, if you read the Torah and Tanakh, the Hebrew books, Persia has always been around for the most part. Persia's been around a long time. And the Persians were not always that good a people, especially to the Jews. And not much has changed on that aspect. As a matter of fact, it's gotten much, much worse. A few years ago, they said that their goal was to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. That was the goal of the Iranian leader. He's gone now. But most of these guys just mysteriously up and die. Trust me, I had nothing to do with it. Anyway, but yeah, that's what they wanted, to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. And it's so dumb when they say that, because Israel is about 1/5 Muslim. So you're going to be killing a lot of your own people, because a lot of people that they do escape, you escape from Iran, they'll try to get to Israel because there's democracy there. There's freedom there. If you're a Muslim in Israel, there's no prejudice. There's no bigotry. There's no hatred. There's no racism there. They'll treat you like you should be treated, like a human being. But there's only a few thousand people that are Jewish in Iran. And those are mainly doctors that go there to help people out and do things like that. Now, getting back to Iran's history of violence and things like that, they have having a long history of that. They have fought against every country practically. I mean, they fought against the Romans, they fought against the Greeks, Iraq, Russia. You name the country, they probably fought a war against them for whatever reason there is. Most of it is just dumb reasons, because they didn't like them. Why did they go up against Iraq? No real reason. Iraq didn't do anything wrong, but they didn't like what was going on, and they tried to take over, and it didn't work. And I don't know if you remember this, but you remember back in 1979? They invaded our embassy. Well, let's go back a little further. The Ayatollah Khomeini took over Iran in 1979. The Shah of Iran was leading the country, and he was very westernized. He got along with Britain and the Western nations like, Britain, Ireland, the United States, Canada. He was very accepting of them. We negotiated with them a lot of things. We helped them. They helped us. They didn't help us much with gas and oil in the Carter years. That was a mess. I remember those years. Carter did a horrible job. But anyway, the Shah he had it westernized. There was no Sharia law. If you look at the things that went on back then, women could go to college. Women could walk down the street in a skirt or a dress. They didn't have to wear a hijab. Women went to the beaches in bikinis. They didn't have to wear a one piece. And if you see the women now, they can't even wear one piece. They have to be completely covered. There's no freedom there for women. I'm telling you, man, I know this stuff, and it bothers me. I don't like that sexism stuff like that. But the women were treated equal. They could hold government positions. It was just like kind of the United States of America. Russia's the same way. Israel's the same way. There's a lot of countries like that, Denmark, Finland, and that's what Iran was. But the Ayatollah Khomeini came around. He got up his people. They led a revolution, and the Shah had to leave. He actually escaped and got away with his life, and it was horrible. And they invaded our embassy in 1979. They held 52 people, 52 Americans hostage for 444 days. Didn't release them until 81 when Reagan took over. And they were kind of scared of Reagan because Reagan wasn't playing. Reagan would have done military action, and he told them that. He's like, release our people. Release them now. He told them, let them go. He's like, well, let them go now, or I'll do my thing. And they knew they weren't playing, And, but Carter actually tried to do a military action, and it failed miserably. He didn't know what he was doing, and he didn't listen to the military. He sent these certain planes and helicopters in there that couldn't handle being in the desert. They weren't made for that. And they told him that. They're like, this won't work. And he's like, no, this is Jimmy. This is Jimmy now. Have some peanuts. All right? Yeah, okay. But it didn't work, man. But anyway, our hostages finally got freed in 81, and it was horrible. And the Ayatollah invoked Sharia law. And that's when he started cracking down. The women had no freedom. And they don't now. And I think they're fed up with it. And I'm glad. And you're seeing a lot of women over there They're not allowed to smoke. They're not allowed to drink. The men can do whatever they want. I mean, there's a lot of rules. And people will say, well, it's their country. We have to respect their laws. Do we? Do we? Because people come to my country, the United States of America, and they don't respect my laws. People come here with no passport. They're not respecting my laws. You just walk right in and do whatever you want. Shoot, man, don't even get me started on that crap, man. No, we don't have to respect their laws. If their laws are hurting others, then I'm not going to respect their laws. I'm not going to say those laws are okay, because they're not. Women have to wear a hijab. Women are sexualized, but it's just awful. And I don't like talking about it because I don't like to see women treated like dirt like that. I believe everybody's equal, and I believe that there's freedom, and I believe as long as you're not hurting yourself or others, then there's good things going to happen. But they treat them like dirt over there. It's awful. Now, when Ayatollah took over, what he started to do now is he established like an anti-Western theocracy. He didn't want anything to do with any Western culture. Women, no, you don't wear boots. You don't wear shoes. You wear what we tell you to wear. Cover your face, woman. Put that hijab on straight. You don't do this. He started killing people. He started gutting the government. He didn't like somebody. They killed him. They locked him up. They executed thousands upon thousands of people when he took over because they were violating the Islamic laws. And it wasn't basically, hey, you can fix it or die. It was like, you're going to die. And especially the women. And he did the Iran hostage country. And he started a war with Iraq right away. No reason, just didn't like Iraq because at that time Iraq was getting along with America. He didn't like that at all. And basically he wanted a revolution against everybody and everything. And he got a lot of the people on board with that because, at that time there's a lot of putzes out there that just, would believe in stupid stuff like that. There's a lot of people that they believe in the Sharia law, even though most of them don't know what it is. Most people, and I'm not talking about Islam, but most people have never studied the Quran or the Hadith. Most people have never read most of it. Just like Christians, most Christians have never read or studied the Bible. And when they post the book from the old Jewish books, post a verse, it's like it's totally wrong. It's been misinterpreted. Or if you talk to them about it, they don't know what you're talking about because they never heard it. And that's how a lot of these guys are. But they're told something and they believe it. And we live in a predominantly manly sexist world, and I'm going to go here and I'm going to tell it like it is. In Islam, that's how it is. Man is the master. There's a lot of religions like that, a lot of cultures like that. Don't agree with that, but it's basically, to me, that's gender apartheid. They treat women like they're second-class citizens. When they're out in public, they have to have a guardian. They got to have a male guardian. It's got to be your father, grandfather, brother, husband. I mean, just to be out in public. And here's the thing. The legal age for a girl to marry over there is 13. Now, I know thousands of years ago, like in the Bible, Mary was only maybe 13 when she got married. Or I think she was 14. He might have been 16. You know what I mean? And back then, they were considered women. But things have changed a little bit. We know better now, and it's just, they can actually, a judge can authorize, and this is gross. I can't even imagine, even when I was 16, being with a 13-year-old. When I was 16, we wanted to date 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds, because if you did, you were somebody, But it's like, a judge can make it to where you can marry an 11-year-old. You can sell your daughter to somebody. Happens all the time. You'll see a 50, 60-year-old man with a lot of money, and they don't have much, some of these people over there, and they'll sell an 11-year-old daughter to them. That's disgusting, people, but it's legal. Here's another rule. Fathers are the sole legal guardians of the children. A mother typically only has custody until the child's about 7. Then it transfers to the father. So no matter what, he's in charge. And if she gets an inheritance, well, it's not going to be very much. Let's say he dies. They're not going to get much of it. There's a mandatory dress code over there. And I've talked about this already, and I'm sure a lot of you know this, but they're required to cover their hair. They have to dress modestly from the age of puberty, but they usually start that pretty young. They have a chastity hijab law. And you know, if you don't comply, if your hijab's on crooked, you'll get in trouble for that. And here's the fines. Here's how they fine you for that. Flogging. They'll throw you in prison for up to 15 years. And eventually, potentially, the death penalty. Because they call it corruption on earth. So if you're showing your face in public, young lady, you're in trouble. Now, I don't know if you remember this. This is about a year and a half ago. This girl was getting hassled all the time by the morality police. They have people in public over there walking up and down, making sure that everything is on the up and up. You can't do this, you can't do that. And they're especially going after the women. Her hijab was always on a little crooked or something, and maybe she wanted to show her face a little more or something. You know, she was a young girl. I think she was in her 20s, college age, and she got sick of it. They were always disciplining her, always in trouble. So this happened in November of 2024, and it made big news because she stripped down to her bra and panties and was walking down the street. And she got arrested for it. And they say they let her go with no charges filed and stuff, but they've never released her name. And she's never came public, never talked about it. I honestly believe she's not with us anymore. Yeah, they probably released her and said, oh, no charges, but we'll see you tomorrow. And there's a lot of women that have done that. A lot of brave women. I give them so much credit because they know what's going to happen. But I think they're like, hey, I'd rather be free than be like these guys and be in a prison my whole life. You know, that's why a lot of these women, they come over here. They like it. They can be free. And nobody's going to persecute them for this. And that's a good thing. Like I said, man is the master. The women don't have equality over there, and it's horrible. They're banned from singing in public. They can't ride bicycles or motorcycles. They can't go to a sporting event. If their son's playing soccer, they can't go. Not allowed. You are not allowed at the events or even in the stadiums because you have a vagina. You are a female. That's why sometimes, and you'll hear about this, well, you probably won't, but some of us hear about it. Sometimes they dress up like men. They try to look as manly as possible so they can go see their kid play a sport. And I think that's just sad that they got to do that. But those are the laws over there. And people will sit there and say, we have to respect our laws. No, we don't. Stop it. How about we do that law here in America? Oh, yeah, let's do that. Let's start making women in America do that. Oh, I guarantee that there's women here that won't play that very much at all. And, you know, if they're in court, their testimony doesn't mean as much. It's horrible. This just what they got to do. There's no laws over there, no law in Iran. And this is all true, people. Everything I'm telling you is true. It's not just speculation because you know me. All I ever do is tell you the truth, man. There is no law over there. And this is horrible. No law on domestic violence. Sexual assault is not criminalized as a distinct crime. Marital rape is not criminalized. It's pretty horrific. I've seen videos of the wedding where the man, after he's married, he punches his wife, slaps his wife. You hear about it all the time over there. You'll hear about it from people that know all kinds of sexual assault. It's awful. The girl can't fight back. She's supposed to lay there and take it or pretend. It's horrific, people. But now they're fighting back. And I'm so happy for them. I'm so proud of them. And I want everybody to support Iran. I am so happy. I hope they overthrow that freaking government. I hope they get back to some of the Western ways. Hey, we're not the best. We're not the best example. But you know what? We do pretty good. We do a lot better than others, man. So we've had some horrible people in the past, horrible Americans, that have had some shady deals with Iran. Like I told you, Iran has said they wanted Israel wiped off the face of the earth. And that's why there has been no nuclear capability given there. Several years ago, they were really close because a certain American president was giving them plutonium and lots of it and a lot of uranium. So they could go and they could work on this and have nuclear capability. Lo and behold, their computers all shut down and everything got fried. And they got set back a few years in their production on that. And the funniest thing, this is what they say. I'm not saying this is true or not, but this is what the Iranian people said before the computers shut down. And I love this. A Star of David popped up and blinked. So we all know who's responsible for that. Good old Mossad. Love the Mossad. They don't play. You don't mess with them and they don't play. That's probably a true story, people. Iran put that out there. They might have put it out there just to get people to hate on the Jews because that's a big thing now. It's getting worse than ever. But you know what? They've hated Israel forever. They didn't back in the day until these new people took over, until the Ayatollah and everybody after him's come along. Now, we've had some non-Israel loving presidents in the past few years that have that have done some pretty bad things. Let's talk about Barack Obama. Barack Obama got caught. He got caught. He was the one that was giving him things for nuclear capability. He's not a friend of Israel. Not a friend of the Jews, people. Never was, never will. So that's on him, though. And Israel knows that. So does the rest of the world. Unless you're a dumb puppet. But anyway, one day in the morning, early morning, like 4 a.m., airplanes landed there. And they dropped off, I think it was $1.7 billion. It was 1.6 billion, something like that. It was cash money, all in Swiss francs. It was American money, all this different money from all over the world. And lo and behold, the mainstream media got a hold of it. They found out what happened. Now, first off, if you're giving Iran money, why are you giving it to them at like 4 in the morning? All these private jets and stuff. That's kind of shady deal. Now, when he got caught, Obama said, No, hold up, folks. What I did was I gave them money that had been frozen. Michael and I been frozen for years. I mean, Michelle. He's an idiot. I don't know how that man got in that. Well, I do know how, but he's a puppet. He said that the money was frozen assets, and that they unfroze the assets and released it to them. And it was being held in a bank in Asia. So why was it in Swiss francs and all this other Deutschmarks and all kinds of other money? Why wouldn't it just be an Arab money? Why wouldn't it be Iranian money? I think it's called the Ratar or something like that. Why? Because he's lying. And then they said, well, why is it so much? Well, now, folks, it was only a couple million, and we had to put, it was interest. They accrued interest in the banks. You lying piece of crap. You lying piece of crap, man. You know? But he got caught. He got busted. But that was the mainstream. And here's the thing, too. The mainstream media stuck up for him. It took about 3 or 4 days for them to come up with a good excuse on the stories on that. Because there were certain groups out there that caught this right away. And they said, hey, man, this is just what happened. And then about 3 or 4 days later, the American mainstream media is like, oh, this is what really happened. Of course it did, you puppets. Oh, and here's another thing. A lot of people were saying that was a ransom payment because 4 American hostages got released about the same time. Now, we have given money to them for hostages before. We've given them millions of dollars for that. That's why other countries go and try to capture our people because they think, hey, if I go invade this embassy and keep these guys, I'll get $5 million or $10 million a person. I'll get $50 million. BS, man. We don't play that. Now, here's another idiot that did something bad. Joe Biden in 2023 gave Iran $6 billion. Same thing. Said it was frozen assets. And that the reason there was so much is because of interest. And what did they do to that? What did they do with that money? They used it for their nuclear capability to get their nuclear program on par to other countries. They want nuclear capability. They want to have weapons. They want to kill others. They want the first place will be attacked will be Israel. And Joe Biden, basically, when this happened, had a good excuse. Oh, I got hairy legs and they had frozen money. I like ice cream. Guy was an idiot, man. Who voted for this moron? Dude, who votes for these people? Come on, man. They're all a bunch of paskudniks. We don't need them. Let's get some real people in there, man. Some kind-hearted people. So he's a lying piece of crap anyway. Y'all know that. Joe Biden couldn't do it. Remember, Joe Biden also said he was I'm going to cure cancer. I still got the video saved for that when I saw it. He said he was going to cure cancer. Cancer's still running rampant, people. Biden didn't do anything for this country. Maybe he's running Iraq and Iran. Maybe that's the problem over there. They talk about everything in Iran. And here's the thing. The mainstream media of America is turning it around to make it to where these people are kind of the bad guys, that there's no reason for this because of this, that, and they're trying to twist it. Not all the mainstream media, just the ones that lie all the time. Well, that's 90% of them, if not more. But anyway, they have an agenda. They're a bunch of puppets. We're going to go after that one day. I'm going to tell you all about the mainstream media. Who owns what? Who controls what? Where the money's coming from? It's going to be a long one, people. That might be a two-parter. Anyway, so they were talking about why the people are rebelling. And they're trying to put a spin on it. The inflation's horrible, which it is. And they're talking about the price of gas is so high. I'm like, are you people high? Or are you incredibly stupid? Because you can get a gallon of gas with American money because they're on the metric system. But if you were to get 1 gallon of gas, American style over there, it'd probably cost you about 4 cents. Okay? Because they produce a lot of oil. And then they'll sit there and when Donald Trump speaks out and says he'll protect Iran, well, he's just doing that to get all their oil. That's the only reason he did that with Venezuela, too. He just wants all their oil and their resources. No, he's actually trying to help a country that needs help. He's trying to help these people. Let me tell you, I know a lot of people right now over there that are protesting. And they know that the end game might not be well, but they're going to try. They're going to try to do their best. I saw a protest over there the other night, and this was a beautiful thing. There were people over there holding the flag they want to be Iran. And they might even go back to calling it Persia if they take over. Or changing the name to something cool. But they were holding the old school flags, and there were people holding Israel flags. Man, I never thought I'd see that in Iran since the 79s. I never thought that'd be back. There was people over there, there's waving Israeli flags like, oh, they're going to be the first ones shot. But they didn't care because they know Israel's not bad, and they know when the stuff hits the fan, Israel's going to be there for them, man. And there's people here in America. They're going out right now. They're waving flags. They're like, free Iran, free Iran. And I agree with them. Free Iran. These are real protesters. These are peaceful protesters. These are the real people that actually know what's going on and stand up for things. Not these morons that once a week I stand on a corner holding a sign. I'm doing something. You ain't doing nothing, you putz. Anyway, they're out there, and I'm seeing Jewish people marching with Muslims, hand in hand. And they're talking about how we'll dance together again, my brother and sister. It's a beautiful thing, man. I'm loving this. And I hope it goes in their favor. I hope to Hashem that it goes to their favor, because I really want to see them free. Because nobody needs to be oppressed like that. Not in our society, not in this world. They deserve better. But when you see Israel and Iranian Muslims holding hands, holding flags, holding each other's flags, man, that brought a tear to my eye. I got friends all over this country. I saw a nice protest up in Canada from this chick I know. She's a sweetheart. I love her. She's such a good person. She has put her butt on the line several times. She's been beaten. She's had bad stuff happen to her, because that's what people do. But she's back out there, and she's tough, and I have so much respect for her. And she was up in Canada, and she's waving the flag, and she's not taking crap from anybody. And those people, most of them are Muslim out there, and they're holding the flags too, going, yeah, free Iran, man. Woo! Yeah, we don't want Sharia law here or there. And I love the people in Iran. They're trying to take the shackles off. They're basically slaves. They are slaves, man. I mean, they're kind of free, although there's no free speech there. There's a lot of countries with no free speech, and they're one of them. There's not a lot of freedoms there. They're basically just a little bit off of slavery. The women, you're slaves, and that's horrible. But they're over there trying to get the shackles released. And over here in America, what's going on with America? Over here in America, they're putting the shackles on. They're putting the Sharia law Muslim shackles on their arms. They're doing it over here. They want everybody to be changed. They want it to be, want them to be like that. Starting in New York, New Jersey. Newark, New Jersey the other day flew an Islamic flag above their city hall. Everybody was chanting and saying Allahu Akbar and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, what about the Jewish people that live there? Because they did it for Muslim American Heritage Month. What do they do then? Nothing. The mayor of Michigan, she put a nice big thing out on social media and the internet, on Google, and hit me up, I'll show it to you. And it's just like, wow, just praising them. Now, this is a group that doesn't respect women. She's a female that I know of. I ain't checking for real, man. I don't want none of that. Yuck. Get that away from me, man. That witless chick. Yeah, she came in here into Michigan. She came to Michigan and said, fix the damn roads. Michigan has the worst roads in the nation. She's done nothing for this state. But there's dumb puppets that'll vote for her because that's how people are. They only vote political parties. They don't vote for people. Why? Because they're dumb and they're puppets. But she put something out there, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cold-blooded, man. But Newark, New Jersey, I'm like, there's a lot of Jews in Jersey, and they don't respect them. There's a Muslim mayor in New York City, and they're really trying to push that on people. They're praying in the streets and stuff. That's cool. That's fine. But they're burning down temples. They're burning synagogues. They're desecrating them. Every single day, somebody is getting desecrated for being Jewish. Jackson, Mississippi just had a temple, synagogue get burned down. It's been there since 1860s originally. That's when the congregation started in the 1860s. I think it was 1867 after the war when they first built their first building there. They switched it up because it got firebombed in 1967 or 69 by the KKK. Probably 67. Because they were sticking up, the Jews, as they always have, stick up for the civil rights movement. They were a big part of the civil rights movement. And the rabbi there was a big part of it. So the KKK firebombed the temple, destroyed it, and his home, almost killing him and others. Why? I don't know why. Because they don't want blacks to be equal. And now you got people with other cultures, other religions, that don't want others to be equal. And you all need to step up and watch out. To each their own. You can have your own religion, but don't push it on others. Don't take over a city and make it to where somebody with a Magen David walking down the street or wearing a yarmulke kippah, whatever you want to call it, gets persecuted for it. Why is it okay for you to have your faith and your religion and you can pray and do whatever you want, but nobody else can? They sit there and say you can't have a pride flag. No, that's sick. We don't do that. But then you'll see all these people saying, gays for, Gaza. Okay, go over there. You'll be the first one thrown off the building. They'll throw you off before they do the Jews. People are stupid. Plain and simple, man. People are stupid. And America's going down the tubes. Iran is standing up. They're standing up. They're fighting back. And America, we don't need to bow down to anybody. We don't need to roll over people. We don't need to do that. Live and let live. Be free. Everybody needs to be one another. Be free, man. I respect your faith. You respect mine. I'm not going to hurt you for yours. Don't you hurt me for mine. Because we will get you back. Because we don't forget. And we really don't forgive. It's called a blurse. It's a blessing and a curse. But you know what? Be free. Be who you want to be as long as you're not hurting yourself or others. Speak freely. If you want to get down at certain times of day, okay, cool. But here's the deal, respect others. 5 a.m. they're playing their prayers. Well, not everybody wants to hear that at 5 a.m. on a loudspeaker. Have some respect for one another. It's not all about you. And when you get mad about it and cry Islamophobia, which that's a word that was only made up recently, by the way, you cry that. Yeah. What about others? What about the others that you've done wrong to? Look at over there in Iran, people. I'm surprised the media is not calling it Islamophobia. I'm surprised they're not calling the Muslims that are practicing Islam over there, they're Islamophobic. They don't want to do Sharia law. They don't know the game. Well, neither do you. Neither does the mainstream media in America. Neither do most people. Most people are quick to criticize. They're quick for anger. And they're so-called open-minded progressive left-wing, and I will not call them liberals because the word liberal means liberty for everybody, whether you agree with them or not. So they are not liberals. They're called that. They have been called that for years, and they're some of the worst people on the planet. But I won't call them that because I know what a liberal really is. But these so-called left-wing, open-minded progressives are some of the most hate-filled people in the world. I made a couple posts the other day honoring law enforcement. And there was like nice little law enforcement. It was just a nice little picture and stuff. And they went, and I put them in these groups in the city where I work. And I know most of these people commenting, shoot, I can tell you where they live. I can tell you what their income is. Hey, that's what happens when you're smart. You know things. Anyway, one group was liked it and everything, and nobody said a bad word about it, which was cool. That's the way I expected. Everybody knows somebody in law enforcement that's nice. Just like any job, there's always bad people. There's bad cops, there's good cops, there's bad teachers, good teachers. It's all kinds of different professions like that. But the other group, everybody was attacking me. They were coming off on me. They were saying mean things. They were calling me names, and I'm like, I got free speech. Well, if you like them, just tell your friends that happy day. It's like, no, I'm doing this for all the people. There's law enforcement I don't know out there. It's called free speech. It's called respect. They blasted me, and then they took my post down. So remember that when you deal with these so-called open-minded left-wing progressives. These people will be the one that get mad at what I say on here today. They don't want free Iran, They'll sit there and they'll turn it around. Well, they're against Sharia law. They're not real Muslims. Well, neither are you, Whitey. You don't know what you're talking about, cracker. Give me a break, man. I'm telling you, I want Iran to be free. I want a lot of these Middle Eastern countries and a lot of these oppressed countries to be free. Look at Venezuela. Man, they're partying down there. They're so happy that they're going to be free. They're hoping to be free. And I think that's great. These countries are oppressed. They're hated by their own government. And they're hated by their neighbors. How would you like to live like that, man? How would you like to live like in China, where they can tell on you and say, he threw a piece of gum wrapper on the floor, on the ground, so therefore your credit score goes down because you're a bad person. They'll put you in jail for stuff like that. You could have accidentally dropped something. It's horrible. So I want Iran free. And I want everybody to be equal. I want freedom and love for everybody, man. It's not that hard of a concept, people. And I'm tired of these people that claim to be so open-minded and progressive. They're so full of hatred in their hearts. Why? Just because somebody disagrees with you? Heck, there's all kinds of people disagree with me. There's people going to listen to this and probably write me or block me or something. That's okay, man. You have that right. I don't expect you to believe me. Well, I expect you to believe me because it's the truth. Because that's all I ever do is tell the truth because I'm the real deal, man. And I tell it like it is, baby. I'm the real deal. Don't you know how I feel? It's the truth. But they don't have to believe me. They can go and research and find out they're wrong. But you know what? That's just the way it is. I don't hate others because of things they post on Facebook. You know what I do? If I see something I don't like, oh, yeah, I scroll past it. I don't have to get on there and call somebody a name or put a link in there that's like, well, this is what really happened. Not really, dude, because that's the link you got. today a friend posted something and he was wrong. And he thinks a lot like I do on a lot of things. He's middle of the road. But what he put up there was wrong, and I corrected him. I said, I don't want to be rude, dude, but those quotes never happened. Those are fake quotes, dude. And I said, but here's something this guy did do. And I told him some stuff he didn't know. He's like, wow, dude, I didn't know that. He goes, I didn't mean to post those. I thought those were real. I'm like, nah, it's okay, dude. The guy is a scumbag that he was posting about. For real, man. It was George Soros. Oh, he's a Nazi. He's a couple. He's a schnooker. He's a putz. I don't like him. And he's a shwoo. He's a shwoo. I don't like schnookers. I don't like shwoos. Anyway, man. But yeah, he made a mistake. And really nobody was blasting him other than the fact that, hey, man, that's not real. But nobody's like, oh, yeah, well, this, that, the other. And that's how we're supposed to be in our society, right? You know, we all need to just learn to get along. Get along. Respect one another. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to like the way I look or the shirts I wear or my sports teams. Whatever. Just like I don't have to like yours. But I'm not going to hate you for it. And if worst comes to worst, if you're a fan of a team I don't like and somebody's oppressing you for it and they're going to hurt you, I'm going to stick up for you, whether I like your team or not, because nobody needs to be oppressed like that. And that's exactly how I feel about Iran. They're being oppressed, and I will stick up for them, and I'm proud of them. I say free Iran, man. Iran knows I got their backs. They know the real deal is here, and they know the real deal's got their backs. Peace and love, everybody.